The concept of the Logos has echoed through history, shaping the foundations of philosophy, religion, and science. Ancient Greece saw it as divine reason, while biblical texts declared it as the very essence of creation. Yet, what if this definition barely scratched the surface? The Law of One reveals that the Logos is not just a principle. It is the active force through which infinite intelligence structures reality itself. The universe is not a random occurrence, but a carefully unfolding thought, an ever-expanding manifestation of divine intention seeking self-awareness. What does this mean for existence itself? It suggests that galaxies, stars, and even human consciousness are not isolated phenomena, but fractal reflections of the same original design. The Logos operates through a structured hierarchy, each level birthing new dimensions of reality. Every act of creation is a ripple in an infinite ocean of self-discovery, where universal intelligence continuously refines its own nature. What we perceive as cosmic randomness is, in truth, the deliberate evolution of love/light, shaping form and experience through intelligent energy. This perspective turns the traditional view of creation on its head. Instead of a singular event where a deity spoke existence into being, reality is an ongoing process, an infinite conversation between the Creator and itself. Every moment, every shift in consciousness, every movement of a galaxy is part of this grand design. The universe breathes, thinks, and restructures itself according to the divine mind, ensuring that no creation is ever final. Existence itself is an open-ended story, constantly rewriting its own nature through the medium of experience. To truly grasp this, one must abandon the idea that creation is external to them. If the Logos is the foundation of all reality, then every individual carries within them the same creative force that guides the cosmos. This realization is not merely theoretical. It is an invitation to step beyond the illusion of separateness and recognize that consciousness is not contained in a single mind, but rather is part of a vast, interconnected field of intelligence. The micro and the macro are one and the same. This is the path of true knowledge, one that dismantles the old limitations imposed by dogma and materialism. To understand the Logos is to comprehend the essence of existence itself, to recognize that every star, every planet, and every soul is engaged in the same cosmic dance of self-realization. But how does this force actually function? To explore this, we must first define the Logos itself. Chapter 1. Defining the Logos. The Logos is more than just a philosophical term. It is the very foundation upon which reality is built. In Greek, Logos translates to word, reason, or plan, yet its meaning extends far beyond language. According to the Law of One, the Logos is the original thought, the first movement of intelligence into creation. It is not a static entity, but an unfolding expression of the one infinite Creator, a self-perpetuating force that organizes existence. This means that every structure, from galaxies to consciousness itself, emerges from a singular divine impulse, seeking infinite self-discovery. If creation is an ongoing process, then the Logos is the architect behind it all. It does not merely shape reality, but becomes reality itself, flowing through every layer of existence. Think of it as a cosmic operating system, constantly running and expanding, generating new possibilities of experience. This divine intelligence is not bound by time or space. It permeates all things, weaving the fabric of being itself. Every thought, every moment of awareness, and every evolutionary leap is an extension of this grand design. We are not separate from it. We are active participants in its expansion. Yet, this leads to a powerful paradox. If the one infinite creator is complete and whole, why does it create at all? The answer lies in the nature of self-awareness. Without contrast, without differentiation, there can be no knowledge of self. The logos exist to explore itself through infinite variations, giving birth to dimensions, laws, and consciousness itself. Creation is the mirror through which the creator recognizes its own infinity. Every form of existence, from the vastness of a galaxy to the depth of a single thought, contributes to this grand reflection. This is why the law of one describes reality as a continuous unfolding rather than a completed act. The logos does not create a universe and then step away. It is the universe. It exists in all things, from the subtle vibrations of an atom to the majestic orchestration of cosmic cycles. It is intelligent energy in motion, shaping, refining, and recreating itself at every level. This means that every aspect of reality is imbued with purpose. Every fragment of existence is a doorway to understanding the whole. But if creation is ongoing, then what governs its unfolding? Is there a set pattern, or does existence emerge randomly? The answer lies in one of the greatest paradoxes of divine intelligence, the interplay between limitless potential and the structured nature of evolution. To fully grasp this, we must explore the boundaries of infinity itself, where the Creator meets its own limitations. Chapter 2. The Paradox of God's Limitations. The idea that God is limitless seems unquestionable. After all, infinite intelligence must have no boundaries. Yet, a contradiction arises. If God is truly infinite, then there is no contrast, no separation, and no experience. Without differentiation, there is no self-awareness. This is the great paradox of the one infinite creator. To fully know itself, it must create the illusion of fragmentation. The logos emerges as a necessity, an unfolding structure that allows for exploration. It is not a detached force, but rather the very process through which the creator perceives its own vastness through infinite perspectives. This paradox extends into every aspect of existence. The logos enables differentiation while remaining unified, much like an ocean forming individual waves, each distinct yet still part of the whole. Imagine a painter with a blank canvas. In its untouched state, the canvas holds infinite potential, yet no definition. Only through the act of painting, adding colors, form, and contrast, does the artist see their vision take shape. In the same way, the Creator brings forth a universe to explore its own nature. Every life, every experience, every cosmic cycle is another brushstroke on the masterpiece of infinity. Yet, if the Creator requires experience to know itself, does that imply imperfection? This is where the paradox deepens. The Creator is both complete and continuously expanding its awareness. It does not change in the way mortals do, but rather unfolds deeper layers of its own nature. Each moment of existence, every reincarnation, every shift in consciousness adds to this grand self-discovery. The universe is not static. It breathes, adapts, and reshapes itself eternally. The journey of creation is endless because the Creator is always becoming, never reaching a final state of completion. This changes the entire understanding of perfection. Many assume that perfection means stillness, something finished, untouchable, unchanging. But in truth, perfection is evolution. It is the constant refinement of intelligence, the ceaseless unfolding of divine wisdom. Nothing in existence is truly a mistake. What seems like failure is simply another step in the Creator's learning process. Just as a sculptor chisels away at raw stone to reveal beauty, the universe carves itself into increasingly refined expressions of divinity. This is the fundamental nature of spiritual evolution. But how does this process actually unfold? If creation is a continuous act of self-exploration, then what are the mechanics behind its expansion? To understand this, we must dive deeper into the cosmic structure, the precise stages through which infinity awakens to itself. Chapter 3. The creation process in stages. Creation is not a singular event, but an ongoing, structured unfolding. The one infinite creator does not simply generate existence and step away. Rather, creation moves through distinct phases, each revealing deeper layers of divine intelligence. The first stage is pure infinity, an undifferentiated state where all potential exists, but nothing is yet defined. From this void, awareness emerges, the first act of self-recognition. This awareness then condenses into intelligent energy, a force known as love/light, which serves as the building block for everything that follows. Through this process, existence transitions from pure potential into structured reality. The next stage is free will, a crucial distortion that allows infinite intelligence to explore itself in limitless ways. Without free will, creation would be static, lacking contrast or differentiation. Instead, the logos enable spontaneous variation, ensuring that no two expressions of existence are ever the same. This is why galaxies, stars, and even individual consciousnesses emerge uniquely, following distinct yet interconnected paths. This element of randomness ensures that the creator never fully predicts its own experience, making creation an unfolding mystery even to itself. As free will expands, patterns begin to stabilize. Intelligent energy, the raw force of creation, starts organizing itself into recognizable forms. This is where the first structures of the universe take shape: dimensions, galaxies, and fundamental cosmic laws. The rhythms of existence settle into place, forming the foundation upon which all later evolution occurs. This explains why nature exhibits both spontaneity and predictability. Creation is guided by underlying principles, but remains open to variation. The logos establishes order, while simultaneously allowing discovery. With structure in place, creation moves into its next phase, the manifestation of light and matter. Light is not just illumination, but the physical manifestation of love. The universe itself is built upon these frequencies, with light vibrating at different densities to form the fabric of reality. Matter is nothing more than slowed-down light, shaped by consciousness into tangible experience. From subatomic particles to planetary bodies, all material forms emerge from the same fundamental essence. The cosmos is not a cold, mechanical system. It is the direct expression of love/light, unfolding through infinite variations. Yet, creation does not stop there. If structure alone were the goal, the universe will be nothing more than an intricate machine. Instead, the final stage introduces something far more profound: the emergence of consciousness. As the logos expands, it generates self-aware entities, beings capable of perceiving and interacting with the divine process. This is where reality takes its most fascinating turn, because consciousness itself is a fragment of the Creator, imbued with the same power to shape and transform existence. But how does this process continue beyond the material world? To answer that, we must explore the fractal nature of creation itself. Chapter 4. The fractal nature of creation. Creation is not a singular force, but a self-replicating pattern, repeating itself at every scale of existence. The logos does not manifest in one isolated act. It extends itself fractally, unfolding into countless layers of reality. Each level of creation mirrors the one above it, reflecting the same universal principles in an endless cascade. This means that galaxies, stars, planets, and even individual beings are not separate entities, but expressions of the same original thought. From the cosmic scale down to the atomic level, the same structure repeats, revealing an interconnected, intelligent design. Each logos becomes the god of its own domain, setting the foundational rules for everything within its creation. A galaxy functions as a primary logos, structuring the energy dynamics for its entire system. A star then acts as a sub-logos, refining these principles further. Planets emerge as sub-logoi, shaping the conditions for evolutionary experiences. Finally, living beings function as individualized expressions of the logos, granted the power to create within their own reality. This cascading hierarchy allows infinite intelligence to experience itself from multiple perspectives, ensuring an endless depth of self-exploration. This fractal structure is not limited to the physical realm. It extends into consciousness itself. The same way galaxies branch into stars and planets, consciousness branches into individual awareness. The mind is a microcosm of the universe, containing within it the same potential for expansion, differentiation, and unity. This is why self-awareness leads to greater spiritual awakening. One begins to see that personal thoughts, emotions, and experiences are not random, but part of a larger intelligence at work. Every decision, every insight, and every transformation mirrors the grand process of cosmic evolution. This pattern also explains why higher levels of intelligence function collectively. As individual consciousness evolves, it naturally seeks reintegration with the whole. This is why beings of higher densities merge into social memory complexes, pooling their awareness into unified intelligence. The more advanced a civilization becomes, the more it mirrors the very structure of the logos, operating in harmony rather than separation. This is not a loss of identity, but an expansion of it. Just as a single neuron contributes to the greater function of a mind, an evolved being contributes to the intelligence of the whole. But if galaxies serve as the primary expressions of the logos, what determines their unique characteristics? Why are some galaxies structured as spirals, while others appear as massive elliptical formations? The answer lies in the unique imprint of each logos. For even within the fractal structure of creation, no two expressions are ever identical. To explore this further, we must examine how galaxies function as the first logos in the grand hierarchy of existence. Chapter 5. Galaxies as the first logos. Galaxies are not merely collections of stars and matter. They are the first physical expression of the logos in the structured universe. Each galaxy is a primary logos, meaning it establishes the fundamental laws of physics, energy flow, and vibrational structure within its domain. This is why galaxies exhibit unique characteristics, some spiral, some elliptical, some irregular. Each one is an independent experiment in creation, designed to explore different pathways of evolution. The immense diversity of galactic formations reflects the infinite potential embedded in the logos, ensuring that no two universes develop in exactly the same way. The law of one explains that each galaxy is its own conscious entity, making decisions about how creation unfolds within its space. This means that the physical laws governing a galaxy, such as gravity, time perception, and even the structure of matter, are not universal constants, but choices made by the primary logos. This explains why some regions of space experience time differently, why black holes behave unpredictably, and why the density of stars varies so dramatically across the cosmos. Every galaxy is an individual intelligence, shaping the foundation upon which evolution will take place. Once a primary logos establishes its design, it seeds its structure with sublogoi, stars. These stars inherit the basic framework set by the galaxy, but are granted creative freedom to develop their own unique characteristics. In this way, the logos functions much like a mentor, offering guiding principles, but allowing each new generation to build upon them. This is why stars exhibit such immense variety, not just in size and color, but in the way they influence planetary formation and consciousness development. The galaxy provides the blueprint, but stars bring the details to life. From a metaphysical perspective, galaxies represent the first major division of consciousness within the Creator. The one infinite Creator does not directly manage every detail of existence. Instead, it delegates creative authority through the logos, ensuring that each layer of reality has autonomy. This is the cosmic equivalent of decentralization. Power is not held in one singular form, but spread across an interconnected network. Just as individual beings shape their own experiences, galaxies shape their own realities, following the overarching intelligence of the logos. But what happens when the primary logos delegates its power? How do stars function as sublogoi? And how does their unique vibrational essence influence planetary evolution? To answer this, we must examine how stars become the cosmic architects of reality, structuring everything from energy flow to consciousness itself. Chapter 6. Stars as Sublogos. Stars are not just sources of heat and light. They are sublogoi, divine architects shaping the evolution of their solar systems. Each star is an extension of the primary logos that governs its galaxy, yet it operates with its own unique creative authority. The law of one explains that a star sets the fundamental vibrational patterns for everything within its sphere of influence, determining how matter forms, how time flows, and how consciousness develops. This means that every star functions as a spiritual nucleus, imprinting its energy signature onto the planets that orbit it. The structure of a star determines the very fabric of existence within its reach. One of the most intriguing roles of a sublogos is its ability to create archetypal systems. These archetypes are blueprints for consciousness evolution, influencing the way beings within the system experience reality. The most familiar example of this is astrology. Ancient traditions recognize that the movement of celestial bodies correlated with patterns of human behavior. This is not superstition, but an intuitive understanding of how intelligent energy flows through creation. Each star emits its own archetypal field, shaping the mental and emotional frameworks of the life that emerges under its influence. Beyond archetypes, stars also serve as spiritual beacons, guiding the evolution of consciousness through their energetic frequency. In higher densities of existence, beings can perceive stars as living entities, radiating wisdom and transmitting information. Some esoteric traditions describe advanced civilizations using stars as gateways for interdimensional travel, harnessing their immense energy to shift between densities. This aligns with the idea that stars are not just physical bodies, but metaphysical portals, anchoring different levels of consciousness into the material plane. A civilization's evolutionary speed is often linked to its relationship with its star. The logos operates fractally, meaning that the relationship between a star and its planets mirrors the relationship between a galaxy and its stars. Just as galaxies establish universal principles, stars introduce variations that guide planetary evolution. This is why planets within the same solar system can have vastly different environments. Each world is a distinct experiment, shaped by the unique vibrational influence of its parent star. Some planets accelerate consciousness growth, while others create intense challenges that force deeper spiritual evolution. The sublogos provides the foundation, but the planetary experience determines how evolution unfolds. This naturally leads to a deeper question. How do planets function as sub-logoi? If galaxies govern stars and stars govern planets, what role does a planet play in the grand hierarchy of creation? To understand this, we must explore how planets act as both classrooms and laboratories for consciousness itself. Chapter 7. Planets as sub-logos. Planets are more than just celestial bodies. They are sub-logoi, each uniquely shaping the consciousness that evolves within them. Just as galaxies govern stars and stars govern planets, each planet refines the vibrational conditions that dictate how life unfolds. The law of one describes planets as living entities, each with its own intelligence, personality, and evolutionary path. This explains why planets differ so vastly, not just in their physical conditions, but in the type of experiences they facilitate. Some worlds nurture harmony, while others cultivate struggle, each serving a specific role in the grand design of evolution. A planet's energy structure is determined by its parent star, which sets the foundation for biological and spiritual development. The chemical composition, gravitational field, and atmospheric density all influence how consciousness takes shape. This is why Earth, with its delicate balance of elements, has become a fertile ground for complexity, both physically and metaphysically. Other planets, however, may accelerate growth differently, shaping beings that evolve beyond physical form at a much faster rate. The diversity of planetary environments ensures that consciousness has infinite avenues for expression, adapting uniquely to its surroundings. One of the most fascinating aspects of planetary consciousness is its interactive nature. A planet does not passively host life. It actively participates in its development. The logos of a planet influences the collective experiences of those who inhabit it, creating specific challenges, lessons, and evolutionary paths. This is why some civilizations advance quickly while others struggle. Each planetary consciousness introduces a different set of conditions. Earth, for example, has been designed as an intense learning ground, where free will, duality, and conflict serve as catalysts for rapid growth. The hardships found here are not arbitrary, but intentionally woven into the fabric of its reality. Yet, not all planetary evolution follows a smooth path. Some planets experience destructive cycles, either through natural disasters, environmental shifts, or civilizations failing to progress. In some cases, when a planet no longer serves as an effective school, souls may be transferred elsewhere to continue their growth. This idea explains why ancient traditions speak of beings arriving from other stars, or why certain souls feel an innate sense of being out of place. The process of reincarnation is not limited to one planet. Consciousness is fluid, moving across worlds and dimensions in its pursuit of greater understanding. If planets serve as evolutionary laboratories, then what role do the beings within them play? If planets are the stage, then living beings must be the actors, co-creating their reality within the structure given to them. But how much creative authority do they truly have? To answer this, we must explore the role of human consciousness as a sub-logos, actively shaping its own destiny within the divine hierarchy. Chapter 8. Living beings as co-creators. Living beings are not passive observers of creation. They are sub-logoi, active participants in the unfolding of the universe. The law of one teaches that each conscious being is a fractal extension of the logos, possessing the same divine authority to shape reality. This means that the ability to create is not reserved for galaxies, stars, or planets alone. Every thought, intention, and action radiates outwards, altering the vibrational fabric of existence. free will is not just a concept. It is the mechanism through which the universe evolves, expanding its own awareness through the choices of every sentient being. This creative power is evident in human civilization. Every innovation, culture, and spiritual tradition is an expression of the logos working through individual consciousness. Language, music, technology, and philosophy all emerge from the same impulse, the drive to explore and redefine existence. But this process is not random. It follows the deeper structure of universal intelligence. Just as galaxies create stars and stars create planets, human consciousness creates systems of thought, shaping the collective reality. This is why spiritual growth is not an isolated pursuit, but a contribution to the evolution of the whole. Yet, co-creation is a double-edged sword. The same free will that allows beings to build also allows them to destroy. When creation is driven by fear, division, or material obsession, the result is chaos, suffering, and stagnation. This is why the evolution of consciousness is not just about technological advancement, but about aligning with the higher order of the logos. The great spiritual traditions have always pointed toward this truth. Awakening is not about escape, but about participation, about learning to create in harmony with universal intelligence. Each thought carries weight, shaping not just personal experience, but the energetic landscape of reality itself. This understanding completely shifts the perception of destiny. If each being is a co-creator, then reality is not something that happens to people, but something that happens through them. Life is not predetermined by external forces, but influenced by internal alignment. This is why practices like meditation, visualization, and intentional action have profound effects. They tune consciousness to a higher vibrational state, allowing for more refined manifestations. The future is not written. It is sculpted by the interaction between free will and divine structure. This is the secret power hidden within human experience. But if ancient traditions grasp this truth, why has modern thought strayed so far from it? Why have religions, which once worshipped the cosmic order, distance themselves from the idea that humans are part of the divine process? To understand this, we must examine the historical tension between spirituality and dogma, the irony of how the logos was once revered yet later misunderstood. Chapter 9. The religious irony of the logos concept. Ancient civilizations instinctively understood the divine intelligence embedded within the cosmos. The sun, the stars, and the planetary bodies were not just objects in the sky. They were living entities, expressions of the logos itself. Many early cultures worshipped these celestial forces, recognizing their role in shaping existence. From the Egyptian reverence for Ra to the Mayan astronomical temples, these traditions were not mere superstition. They were reflections of a deeper knowledge. The understanding that planets and stars influence reality was embedded in spiritual practices long before modern science acknowledged their significance. Yet, as time passed, organized religion began to distance itself from these cosmic truths. The idea of celestial bodies as divine intelligences was dismissed as primitive paganism, replaced by doctrines that centralized spiritual authority. The irony is that many religious texts still contain hidden references to the logos, though their meaning has been obscured. The very concept of logos appears in the Bible, described as the Word of God, but few realize that this word is not a metaphor for speech, but a description of the universal intelligence that structures reality. In rejecting older wisdom, many traditions unknowingly erase the deeper esoteric truths of their own scriptures. This shift led to a crucial misunderstanding of humanity's role in creation. Instead of recognizing individuals as co-creators, shaping their reality through free will and alignment with the divine, Religious institutions often positioned humanity as passive subjects under an external god. This created a divide, one where spiritual authority became something to be obeyed rather than experienced. The Logos was no longer seen as something within, but as something distant, something unknowable. The idea that creation is alive was overshadowed by rigid doctrines that emphasize control over exploration. However, these deeper truths have never disappeared completely. Esoteric traditions, mystical sects, and initiatory schools have preserved the knowledge that existence is an ongoing conversation between consciousness and the divine. The resurgence of interest in metaphysics, quantum spirituality, and ancient wisdom is not accidental. It is part of the natural cycle of rediscovering what was lost. The fractal nature of creation ensures that truth cannot be permanently suppressed. As consciousness evolves, so does its understanding of the Logos, leading humanity back to the realization that it is not separate from divinity, but an expression of it. This brings us to a profound realization. Creation is not a past event sealed in history. It is an active, continuous process, unfolding at every moment. If the Logos is still evolving, then the universe itself must be evolving alongside it. But what does this mean for the nature of reality itself? To answer this, we must explore one of the most misunderstood aspects of existence: the fact that creation is never truly finished. Chapter 10. Creation is not a one-time event. One of the greatest misconceptions about creation is that it was a singular act, a moment in the distant past where the universe was spoken into existence and left to unfold on its own. This perspective, while comforting in its simplicity, completely overlooks the deeper nature of reality. The Logos does not operate in a linear time frame. Creation is an eternal process, continuously expanding, refining, and restructuring itself. Every moment is an act of creation. Every shift in consciousness is a ripple in the cosmic ocean of intelligent energy. The universe is alive, breathing, and evolving in ways beyond human comprehension. Modern cosmology supports this perspective. Scientists observe that the universe is still expanding, that galaxies continue to form, and that even space-time itself is subject to change. The Big Bang was not a beginning, but a threshold, a point at which infinite potential began organizing itself into structure. Even now, cosmic cycles continue. Black holes recycle matter, stars collapse and rebirth, and entire galaxies shift through phases of existence. The Logos never stops creating because its nature is to explore itself. To assume that creation was completed long ago is to ignore the evidence written across the cosmos. This also applies to individual existence. Just as the universe is in constant motion, so too is consciousness. No being is ever truly finished. No soul ever reaches a point where learning ceases. Reincarnation, spiritual evolution, and multidimensional experiences all reinforce this truth. Existence is a process, not a static state. This is why personal transformation is possible. The Logos does not impose a final form upon its creations. Instead, it grants the ability to reshape, to grow, and to awaken to new levels of reality. Understanding this dissolves the illusion of limitation. But if creation is infinite, does that mean chaos reigns? Not at all. The universe unfolds through structured laws, patterns that guide its expansion while allowing for infinite variation. This balance between order and free will is what makes reality intelligent. Every moment of creation is both guided and unpredictable, allowing for new discoveries while remaining within the cosmic blueprint. It is this paradox, constant motion within a structured design, that makes existence so endlessly fascinating. The Logos is both the script and the improvisation, the blueprint and the spontaneous masterpiece. But if creation is ongoing, what role do individual planets play in this grand experiment? Earth is not the only world that has hosted intelligent life. Other planets have evolved consciousness long before it. To truly grasp the nature of planetary evolution, we must examine the experiments conducted on Venus and Mars, two worlds that reveal how planetary conditions shape the destiny of those who inhabit them. Chapter 11. Venus, Mars, and the Opposable Thumb Experiment. Long before Earth became the focal point of human evolution, other planets hosted their own cycles of consciousness. Venus and Mars, according to the Law of One, were once thriving worlds where intelligent life took form. However, their evolutionary paths diverged drastically, revealing how planetary environments shape the development of consciousness. Venus evolved harmoniously, progressing swiftly through the densities with little resistance. Mars, on the other hand, became a battleground of conflict, eventually leading to the collapse of its biosphere. These planetary stories offer profound insight into the hidden mechanics of spiritual evolution. Venus is described as a world that achieved balance quickly, a rare occurrence in planetary history. The beings that emerged there embraced unity consciousness early on, avoiding the destructive tendencies that often arise from free will. Without excessive conflict, their civilization progressed without the need for suffering-based learning. This rapid ascension allowed Venusian consciousness to transition into higher densities, leaving behind the physical realm. The wisdom from this evolutionary success remains accessible, channeled through various sources, including Ra, the very intelligence behind the Law of One. Mars, in contrast, followed a different path. The conditions of the planet fostered a civilization that leaned toward aggression, competition, and dominance. This was not purely accidental. Planetary structures influenced consciousness, and Mars had specific energetic imbalances that encouraged warlike tendencies. Over time, conflict led to widespread destruction, and the atmosphere became unsustainable for life. Eventually, the souls that inhabited Mars were forced to migrate, many of them reincarnating on Earth to continue their evolutionary journey. The echoes of Martian struggles can still be seen in Earth's collective history: patterns of war, territorial disputes, and the struggle for dominance. One of the most fascinating elements of this planetary experiment was the role of the opposable thumb. Ra explains that planets with highly developed tool-making capabilities often experience a more turbulent path to spiritual growth. The ability to manipulate objects led to rapid technological advancement, but also made weaponization far more accessible. By contrast, Venusian beings evolved without the same emphasis on physical manipulation, which may have contributed to their peaceful development. This insight suggests that the very structure of a human body influences the way consciousness interacts with reality. The physical and the metaphysical are deeply intertwined. This planetary history reveals an important truth: evolution is not a universal constant. The speed and nature of a civilization's growth depend on countless factors, from planetary vibrations to biological structure. If even small details, such as the ability to grasp objects, can alter the path of spiritual progress, then every aspect of reality carries significance. But how do these planetary blueprints connect to the larger picture of cosmic intelligence? To answer this, we must examine how archetypal systems shape evolution, not just on Earth but across the entire universe. Chapter 12. Archetypal Systems Across the Universe. The universe is not a chaotic collection of random events. It follows structured archetypal systems that guide evolution at every level. These systems exist within the logos, serving as the blueprint for creation itself. Just as human psychology is shaped by deep-rooted archetypes, so too is the development of galaxies, planets, and civilizations. These universal patterns ensure that consciousness progresses through recognizable stages, following pathways that have been explored countless times before. Every world, every star system, and every species operates within these unseen structures, each experiencing reality through its own unique variations. The clearest expression of these archetypes is found in astrology, a system that recognizes the energetic influence of celestial bodies on consciousness. While Earth's astrology is based on its own planetary alignments, every star system has its own archetypal framework. The astrological forces that shape human experience would be entirely different for beings in Alpha Centauri, Orion, or the Pleiades. This is because the logos structures each region of space uniquely, allowing for infinite permutations of the same core principles. Even though the patterns are universal, the way they manifest depends on the energy signature of each sub-logos. Beyond astrology, these archetypal systems extend into every aspect of creation. The tarot, for example, is an encoded representation of the spiritual journey, mapping the stages of evolution from ignorance to enlightenment. While originally used for divination, its true purpose is to illustrate the universal path of consciousness growth. Ra describes the tarot as a tool designed by higher intelligences to help beings understand their journey through the densities. Each archetype represents a fundamental aspect of experience, ensuring that every individual progresses through the necessary lessons to achieve higher awareness. But these archetypes are not just theoretical. They are woven into the fabric of existence itself. Every civilization follows similar patterns of rise, conflict, and transformation. Every soul undergoes cycles of awakening, resistance, and eventual transcendence. The archetypal mind is not limited to one species or one planet. It is a universal structure embedded in the logos. This is why myths, symbols, and spiritual traditions across the world often share striking similarities, despite having no direct connection. Consciousness is tapping into the same cosmic blueprint, interpreting it through different cultural and historical lenses. If these archetypal systems govern evolution, then what happens when a star reaches the end of its cycle? If the logos expresses itself through light, what occurs when that light collapses into darkness? To answer this, we must explore one of the most enigmatic mysteries of the universe: black holes, the ultimate gateways to the infinite. Chapter 13. Black holes as spiritual gateways. Black holes are among the most mysterious phenomena in the universe, often perceived as voids of destruction where matter ceases to exist. However, the law of one presents a radically different perspective. Black holes are not merely the end of physical existence, but the final stage of spiritual evolution. When a star reaches the height of its vibrational potential, it no longer functions as a sub-logos directing planetary evolution. Instead, it collapses inward, transcending the limitations of space and time, returning to the one infinite creator. Black holes are gateways, points where the illusion of separation dissolves, and consciousness reintegrates with the infinite. This concept is deeply linked to the idea of spiritual gravity, the force that pulls all things back toward unity. Just as physical gravity draws matter together, spiritual gravity ensures that all consciousness eventually returns to its source. Evolution is a journey outward. Fragmentation, differentiation, the experience of self is separate, but it is also a journey inward, where all those fragments reunite in higher states of awareness. A black hole represents the final threshold, where a logos or a being has fully explored its creative potential and no longer requires individuation. At this point, existence is not lost, it is transcended. This explains why black holes appear paradoxical. From an external perspective, they seem to consume everything, compressing matter into an unfathomably small point. But from a metaphysical perspective, they are the inverse of the Big Bang, where existence does not explode outward but implodes into oneness. Some traditions describe this process as becoming the creator again, reaching a state where self-awareness merges into infinite intelligence. In this sense, a black hole is not a destruction point, but a doorway into the next stage of existence, one that transcends third-dimensional understanding. This has profound implications for individual consciousness. Just as stars collapse into black holes, advanced beings undergo a similar process of reintegration. When a soul reaches its highest evolutionary point, it no longer requires individual identity, dissolving into the collective awareness of social memory complex, and eventually into the logos itself. Enlightenment is often described as an experience of losing the self, but in reality, it is not loss, it is completion. It is a return to the One, where experience is no longer bound by form, perception, or limitation. But if the universe is designed to return to unity, how does it continue to evolve? If all things eventually rejoin the Creator, why does creation persist? The answer lies in the infinite intelligence of the cosmos. The Logos does not simply recycle existence. It shares knowledge across all levels of reality, ensuring that new expressions of creation emerge. To understand this, we must explore how the intelligence of the universe itself continues to expand. Chapter 14. The Infinite Intelligence of the Universe. The universe is not a closed system. It is an ever-expanding network of intelligence, constantly learning, refining, and evolving. Every Logos, from the grand scale of galaxies to the microcosm of human consciousness, contributes to this unfolding wisdom. The Law of One describes reality as a vast, interconnected social memory complex, where knowledge is shared across dimensions, densities, and civilizations. No discovery is lost. Every experience, every insight, every evolutionary leap is absorbed into the greater whole. This ensures that creation is not stagnant, but self-optimizing, with each cycle of existence expanding upon what came before it. One of the most profound aspects of this intelligence sharing system is that it allows for unique experimentation. Every Logos introduces its own variables, tweaking the rules of physics, consciousness, and evolution to explore different possibilities. This is why galaxies, stars, and even planetary environments differ so dramatically. Each is a laboratory for divine intelligence to push the boundaries of its own potential. What one Logos learns is not isolated. It is imprinted into the universal fabric, influencing future creations. The process is both scientific and spiritual, an ongoing refinement of love/light, forever expanding in complexity. This same principle applies to individual consciousness. Every person, every soul, is a microcosm of this intelligence, constantly refining its awareness through experience. When a being awakens to its true nature, it gains access to deeper layers of universal wisdom. Mystics, inventors, and spiritual seekers often describe moments of pure knowing, where insights seem to arrive from beyond personal thought. This is not coincidence. It is the Logos communicating through consciousness, allowing beings to tap into the greater field of intelligence. The more aligned one becomes with universal truth, the more effortlessly knowledge flows. But this intelligence is not just passive, it is interactive. The universe responds to intention, aligning synchronicities, events, and opportunities based on vibrational frequency. This is why deep spiritual insights often arrive precisely when they are needed, and why those who seek higher knowledge inevitably find it. The Logos is not separate from individual experience. It is the guiding force behind every discovery. Each being is both student and teacher, constantly influencing the intelligence of the whole. The universe is not just something to be observed. It is something to be engaged with, shaped through awareness and intention. But if intelligence is infinite, then what lies beyond the limits of human understanding? If every Logos is constantly evolving, is there ever an endpoint to knowledge? Or is the mystery of creation truly boundless? To answer this, we must explore the final teaching of the Law of One, the eternal, unfathomable nature of the cosmos itself. Chapter 15. The Eternal Mystery of Creation. The greatest revelation of the Law of One is that the universe is infinite, both in scope and in depth. No matter how much intelligence expands, how many cycles of evolution unfold, or how deeply consciousness explores itself, there is always more. The one infinite creator is not a being with an endpoint. It is a field of limitless potential, unfolding in ways that can never be fully grasped. Even the most advanced civilizations, even the highest densities of existence, remain in a state of seeking, forever unraveling new layers of reality. The journey never stops because infinity has no conclusion. This means that mystery is not an obstacle. It is a fundamental aspect of existence. The fact that there will always be more to learn, more to discover, and more to experience is not a limitation, but a gift. The Logos itself is still learning, still refining its expressions, still evolving through the very act of creation. If the universe were something that could be solved, it would cease to expand. Instead, it thrives on the unknown, ensuring that each new realization leads to even deeper questions. The nature of existence is not to reach an end, but to forever unfold into new beginnings. This is why seeking is so central to spiritual evolution. The moment one assumes they have all the answers, they have stepped out of alignment with the Logos. True wisdom lies not in certainty, but in curiosity, the willingness to continue exploring, questioning, and refining one's understanding. Every great thinker, mystic, and philosopher has come to the same conclusion. The more one learns, the more they realize how much they do not know. This is not failure. It is the essence of divine intelligence. The universe reveals itself only to those who remain open to its infinite depths. The final message of the Law of One is one of unity. Everything that exists, every being, every planet, every thought, is part of the same unfolding creation. Separation is an illusion, and the ultimate realization is that you are not apart from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself. Every desire, every challenge, every joy is an extension of the one infinite creator seeking to know itself through you. To embrace this truth is to step into full alignment with the Logos, understanding that every moment is an opportunity to co-create with the divine. And so, the great cosmic journey continues. The universe expands, intelligence refines itself, and consciousness deepens its awareness. No matter how far one travels, there will always be more doors to open, more truths to uncover, and more mysteries to embrace. The question is not whether the answers exist. It is whether you are willing to continue seeking them. Because in the end, the greatest secret of all is that you are never separate from the answers to begin with. Chapter 16. Every moment presents a choice. If everything you just learned is true, then your life is not random. You are not a small, powerless being lost in an indifferent universe. You are a fragment of the Logos, an extension of infinite intelligence experiencing itself through you. Every thought you have, every action you take, Every moment of awareness contributes to the expansion of the universe. The question is, are you creating consciously, or are you letting the world shape you unconsciously? Because the truth is, whether you realize it or not, you are already co-creating reality. The only difference is whether you're doing it with intention. Most people drift through life, unaware of the immense power they hold. They believe they are separate from the cosmos, victims of circumstance rather than architects of their own existence. But what if the opposite were true? What if every challenge, every struggle, every unexpected turn was not an obstacle, but an opportunity? An invitation to refine your consciousness, align with higher intelligence, and actively shape your path? The Logos is not something outside of you. It is within you, waiting for you to awaken to your own potential. The moment you recognize this, everything changes. So, what does this mean for your future? It means that every moment presents a choice. Will you continue to live as if the universe is happening to you, or will you step into your role as a co-creator? The answer is found in how you engage with reality. Meditation, self-inquiry, and intentional action are not just spiritual practices. They are tools for aligning yourself with the Logos. They are ways to tune into the infinite intelligence already flowing through you. The universe is constantly guiding you, sending signals, arranging synchronicities. But are you paying attention? The next step is yours to take. You now understand that creation is ongoing, that reality is malleable, and that seeking is the key to unlocking higher levels of awareness. But knowledge alone is not enough. It must be applied. What will you do with this awareness? Will you allow it to fade into the background of daily life? Or will you use it to transform your perception, your actions, and ultimately, your destiny? This is not philosophy. It is practical metaphysics. The Logos is inviting you to wake up. The question is, will you listen? If you want to continue exploring these mysteries, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Every episode takes you deeper into the hidden mechanics of reality, revealing knowledge that has been kept from you for far too long. And before you go, drop a comment below. What was the most mind-opening realization for you in this episode? Let's explore the depths of the universe together.